Okay, Intel graphics. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's basically, you've got those two main players for the graphics cards. You've got NVIDIA and AMD with huge amounts of history. And Intel turned up on the scene. And a few years ago, they released their Alchemist cards, the A cards. And then earlier this year, I think it was this year, they released their B series cards, the Battle Mage. Okay, now, you see a lot, when they first came out, there was a lot of coverage about them and how they'd upgraded them and made them better than the A cards, the drivers, and all this sort of stuff. And you saw a lot of coverage of those cards. So loads of coverage on Windows. You didn't see so much on Linux. There was a couple of places that did do Linux coverage. But obviously, we're further down the line now, driver improvements, all this sort of stuff. And also, I just thought, you know, I've been developing this games package to do gaming and stuff like that on Omarchy. And I thought, well, there's a missing gap here. People probably have, B cards or whatever they're called, Battle Mage cards. So I thought, maybe I'll develop the games package for that as well. So I ended up looking at buying a card, and it's interesting because the pricing of the B cards, the Intel cards, it's really interesting. Basically, I managed to get a B580 for £190, which is, it's a 12 gig card. It's their sort of top flight version, I believe, for their 1440p gaming thing. And that's super cheap because if you look at the price comparison, the 9060 is about 300 to 330, and then the 560 that I've got is about £400. So you've got 200 quid, 300 quid ish, and then you've got 400 quid. You've got this £200 gap between these two cards. Now, obviously, the Battle Mage has only got 12 gig of RAM. The other two have got 16. But it's a really interesting entry point. It's been quite a while before there's been, there's not that many reasonably priced graphics cards. NVIDIA's always heavily priced. I mean, like I had a 4060, that's only got 8 gig, and that was expensive. Things like that. The 5060 is expensive. They're all very performant cards. They work really well. I mean, if you drop a dime on a 5090, you've got to have a very specific reason to do it. And now with gaming, it's an interesting one. It's like, how many extra frames per second do you really need? I mean, it's sort of, what are you doing it for? If you're a professional gamer, maybe, I don't know. But there is this sort of, how many frames is 200 quid worth? But it's not just the 200 quid, it's frames. It's like ease of installation, running it, drivers. Now, I know they've sort of covered this to death on Windows because obviously everybody's looking at it as a way away from AMD and NVIDIA's costing. But, it's not really been reviewed again on Linux. I haven't seen anything. I don't think anybody's come back on it. So whilst I'm doing this on Omarchy, I thought, as I mentioned, I'll do the, I thought build it into the gaming package. So if you have a B580 and you install the gaming package thing I've done, then, you can use it. But it's an interesting exercise. It's good to have it to test. But I mean, the technological differences between the cards aren't hugely different if you think about it. I mean, I've got really good AV1, you've got really good encoding on the Arc cards, you've got as good encoding on AMD, sort of, and I don't know which one's better. I may do a benchmark between which one can encode quicker between the NVEG on a 5060, AMD's AMF, isn't it? AMF framework, but that's on Windows. I don't think you get that on Linux. And then you've got QuickSync on the Arc card. Anyway, so what we're going to do with this is I've got the new version of Omarchy 3.2. I've installed it, and in fact, we're recording this on the Arc card. And it was quite an interesting exercise because when I installed it, there's like nothing. So when you went to OBS, without any extra packages, you couldn't record H.264. Sorry, you couldn't record QuickSync. You could only record X264, which is the sort of software version. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to install my software. I mean, I don't think you need to sit through this anymore. I mean, I'm going to install DaVinci Resolve with my script, link up the top, and then I'm going to install the games package. I won't put the link up the top yet because I've got one more platform to test that games package on before I release that script, which is AMD. Because I've been doing so much work on it. But you'll see the script used in this, but that will be released probably later in the week or tomorrow or something like that when I finally get the AMD video done and just check it's working. So so then we'll use those two scripts. It's like gone from clean, so I've already done this. I didn't want to go through it again. I know that when you launch LM Studio, you don't get Vulkan. You basically, there's bits missing. So installing those 2 scripts should give me everything, and I should have a reasonable, go at what I can do. So, and then we'll launch the games installer, and then we'll just see. We'll look at some games now that all the drivers are loaded, and all the drivers come in the game script that I've got. Anyway, sorry, massive preamble, but let's have a look and go through it. I mean, I don't know how much performance. I may do a separate video on performance for each 3 cards, but we'll just go through what you can get and how an Intel card works with Omarchy. Anyway, with that massive preamble, let's dive in. Okay, so we're on the desktop, and as I mentioned, I've already installed the DaVinci Resolve script, I believe. Let me just check it's here. Yeah. And I've also installed the games package, the games script that should give you all the bits to run games on Steam that aren't there. I mean, there's a lot of extra drivers that need to come in for you to be able to use it. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, is it on there? LM Studio. So basically I need to install LM Studio, but let's just do that then. Let's jump in here, install, and then AI, and then LM Studio. Let's just put that on there quickly and see what it detects, because I can tell you this, if you put it on here without the scripts that I've got, it doesn't show Vulkan. So let's just put that on there, and it'll ask me, and it automatically goes to a smaller model for loading. Give it a second. My internet's a bit slow this morning. Doing its thing. And there we go. Okay, so let's launch that. And now this first launch, it should detect what it's got. LM Studio, local AI, get started. It's doing its thing. Get started, choose your level, power user, continue. What's it going to pull down? Interesting. So let's ask it to pull that out. But what we'll do is skip, and we'll just go and have a look. And I'll pull that down in the background at what the hardware stack it's picked. So it's got Vulkan. It says it's got, and then it's got Vulkan detected up here. Now I know if you install this without the driver stack for my gaming thing, you don't get the Vulkan CPP. And it doesn't pull down a big model like a Llama at the beginning. It tries to give you a small 8 gig Quen model. So chat history renderer 3.5 to 3.5. So yeah, so I'm not going to run it. I did do some tests with this, and if you get all the right drivers on for Intel, it works really well. And I know that they've got a B580 card, which has got 16 gig, and that's probably not great for gaming. But I mean, I think that would be a brilliant developer card if you're doing AI work on these machines. So let's come out of that. Very interesting. So yeah, I think it's very much about drivers, but Omarchy doesn't come with them, so you need to add extra bits. Let's just fire up Steam. Now, I don't know if this is the first time I've run it. It is the first time I've run it, so I'm going to have to log in on this. But then I've got a games drive over there that I can attach and have a quick look at it. But whilst we're there, before it boots up, let's just do a FASTFETCH so you can see the system. Fast. Oh, if I can spell. Okay, so it's an 8960 XPS. It's an Arc B580, and it's also got an Intel UHD graphics card in there as well. So that's it, and we're on Omarchy 3.2, Hyprland. Wait, okay, let's get out of that. Okay, so let me log into the Steam account. Right, done it? Yeah. Let's have a look. It's one of the reasons I got the I built the gaming launcher is because of the whole desktop thing. And I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, but I don't think Steam games are supposed to be played through this platform. Obviously, and I've mentioned this again, I've mentioned this before, it's one of these things where the only reason it's using Arch, Steam OS, and it's just sitting on top of it. It doesn't really want to be in desktop mode. It wants to be in GameScope. So if you focus trying to get your games to work in GameScope, I think you'll have an easier time. I mean, obviously, it's a Wayland compositor. GameScope. Right, let's just go into settings. Let's do storage. Let's attach my games drive. Add games. Select. Add drive. Yeah. Now that'll appear on there. Yeah. Okay. Now the other thing I need to do, and I mentioned this in another video, someone said you shouldn't do this. You don't need to do this, but it just seems to help. When you go to compatibility, now I'll install my games thing. So Proton GE appears on here straight away. So experimental. I'm going to restart that. But yeah, long term, I will do some tests between them. I mean, I don't think it's the right time to do it today with this, but I'm going to have to sit down and like benchmark them against each other. Okay, so all these updates, like downloads, these are all the validations. Has to do with the validation before it runs anything. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize that. Still up there, let it do its thing, and we'll try DaVinci Resolve because I did install that. Whilst that's updating, so let's have a look. Let's see DaVinci Resolve going. DaVinci Resolve. Yeah, okay. So I haven't launched this yet. This is the first time I've run it on here. Continue. Skip and install. And it comes in this tiny text. You have to go in and tweak this. Don't need the latest version. Skip. So go to Preferences. Go to User. Go to Display UI 150. Save. Okay. Come out of that. Quit. And start again. That's better. Okay, let's just jump in. Now, I don't think you'll get any hardware acceleration, but I think you've obviously got OpenCL running here. Preferences. Right, let's have a look at the GPU. So there you go. That's a bit scary. It's picked the rubbish Intel one, the on-chip one, whatever it's called, but not the Arc. So I've switched over to the Arc. It's got OpenCL. It's okay. So that's probably runnable, but I don't know how much let's come out of that performance would get from this. Obviously, the trick is the hardware encoding. That's the bit. I mean, obviously, if you're doing, let's do that again. DaVinci Resolve. If you're doing ProRes encoding, it doesn't matter because it's CPU based. If you're doing H.264, AV1, or any of those codecs, you want to use the hardware, the dedicated encoders. So everything in this, I think, the display and everything like this, the effects may be OpenCL accelerated, but I don't think the encoding, decode and encode would be accelerated by this. But it's great that you can actually run this. Let's have a look what we've got in here. So MP4, this is the free version, by the way. So you won't have H.265, H.264 by default. But normally on an NVIDIA, you get AV1, but you don't get that. You get something called AVP. I think that's Sony, Samsung thing. Anyway, it's totally workable. QuickTime, ProRes. What else have you got in there? Nothing accelerated though for export or import, but you could definitely work in Quick DaVinci Resolve. You could definitely work in with ProRes and stuff and edit. I don't know how much stress that's going to put on the GPU, but it's nice that it seems quite snappy. Interesting. And it's interesting it picked the other. I wonder if I could combine on the I think it's only on the Pro version of DaVinci Resolve you can do 2 cards. I wonder what would happen if I actually use both of them together. Anyway, that's really good. That's a good result that works straight off the bat. I'm going to try with the AMD and see what I get with AMD, because I mean, getting it to launch, getting DaVinci Resolve to launch on some Linux distributions is a nightmare, and I've written a billion scripts for that one. Okay, let's go back and have a look at Steam. How's that doing? How are we doing with our downloads? Settings, library, wrong one. Let's go back into that again. LM Studio's doing stuff in the background. Let's quit that out. Quit LM Studio and go back up here. I want library. There. We're still downloading. Okay. We're all downloaded. Let's shut that down. Use the Games Launcher. Exit. Games Launcher. Super Shift S. And we're into this. And we want to go to 1440p. I want Mango HUD. And we should fire up GameScope now. And we'll be in. Like I said, when I just did the base install of Steam and tried to play a game on this platform, it just nothing works. You need the additional packages. And here we are, big picture mode. Let's go in. Okay, so let's just try a real basic game. Let's try Dredge. Which doesn't work, by the way, if you just do it normally. Without that, there we go, straight in. Blimey. Quit. That works. Let's try Ball Pit. Play. Vulkan shaders. Okay. Continue. That works. I'm not going to go into that. It's a very, very addictive game. But seems to work fine. Now, let's have a look. What else have we got here? Let's try Night Rain. Let's see if we can get that to go on here. Play ELDEN Night Rain. Don't ask each time. Ask each time. Accept. Let's see what that does. Okay. Anti-cheat. Interesting. A bit of flashing going on there. What's going on there? Is it going to crash on me? Looks good. Queue to close. Continue. I played this on, I think, AMD, just to test the AMD thing out. Let's see if this works. We're off. Oh, frame graph's jumping a bit, isn't it? Let's have a look at the settings. Escape. System. Camera. Network. Controller. Graphics. Quality settings. Let's put that on high. Advanced settings. What else have we got? Texture, motion. I don't want motion blur. Where's that? go off. Reflection quality. So we've got this all on high. Q back. Q close. Oh, hang on. Did those get applied? Let's try that. Sorry, let me just try that again. Video, advanced settings, quality settings. Oh, custom it did go. Right, let's see what happens now. Well, that's a bit better. I think I over-egged it there, didn't I? Frame graph time. So 47 frames per second. 1440p. It's pretty good. I think with a little bit more tweaking, that could be a lot better. Okay, let's come out of that. How do we get out of that? System. Exit. Return to desktop. Going to do it, or is it going to, yeah, okay. Okay, and then to come out, I think that's great. I mean, I'm going to go through this properly, and I'll do some benchmarks, and I'll do some comparisons with NVIDIA, Intel, and this card. But that's quite a good start. I mean, I'm not sure what else I'll get. I won't keep going through all the rest of the games, but I'll try, obviously, I'll try the classics and see what we can get to work. But and to come out of, by the way, to come out of the games to launch it, it's Super Shift R. Okay, so back to me. So yeah, so that's not bad. I mean, obviously you've got to install the drivers, which aren't installed by default on Omarchy, obviously. But once you've got them on there, it seems to work. I don't know what the performance levels are. I'm impressed about DaVinci Resolve working, but it's got OpenCL's been picked up and it does it. Obviously, you don't get the hardware encoding, but that's really good. I mean, if you look on, what's it called? Kdenlive, I think you can use the hardware acceleration on that if you don't need to use DaVinci Resolve. And obviously, Kdenlive is free. So that's quite encouraging. I think that, you shouldn't discount the Arc cards. I think that they've come a long way. I mean, that's not bad for driver support. So obviously, it's not out of the box on Omarchy, but it's doable. As I said, yeah, the games thing, I'll put it up when I've done the AMD and I've fully tested it. And then you can use it, so you'll have the same ability to dump all the drivers in and everything you need, because there are drivers missing for Arc cards on the base install of Omarchy. But it's fair enough. You don't want to cover everything. But no, I'm pretty happy with that, actually. It worked. It felt a bit juddery, but when you get in there and you've got the right settings, then I think you can, you've got a good card. So yeah, so good value for money. I know Black Friday's finished, now it'll be Cyber Monday, whatever, but I mean, it might be worth it if you literally, if you want to use Linux. I mean, obviously they work on Windows very well, but you're thinking about maybe doing some Linux stuff. I know on Omarchy now, after doing all this, that yeah, it's feasible to do, and it's 200 quid. Anyway, I hope that's been of use, and as usual, thanks for watching.